Hey lovelies. The first time that I started filming this video, the very first thing that I commented on was my appearance. And I'm not gonna do that this time. I understand that I look really tired and that I don't put makeup on and do my hair like so many other YouTubers for every video. And I'm just not gonna like put myself down about that. I thought I was going to come out here and film this video and try and not create a bunch of pauses and have very concise things to say, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm gonna try my hardest to get through this with as many stops or with as few stops as possible so that I can edit this really quickly and have it up for you guys. For those of you who follow me over on Instagram, I told you that I was gonna have a video up this past Friday about my experience with the menstrual cup for the first time ever with my first postpartum period, and I do have all of that filmed. But the last couple of days have just been really difficult, and there was no way that I was gonna be able to mentally sit down and edit that type of content right now and just post it. It just felt really inauthentic to where I'm at currently. So instead, I still want to connect with you guys, but I just am going to be filming a more vulnerable video. I'm really honest and pretty vulnerable in all of my videos. So for me to say that this is going to be a more vulnerable video, that's hard to say, is a little bit scary. I am almost 4 months postpartum. I'm 4 months postpartum tomorrow. That might be when you guys are watching this video. And I just feel so overwhelmed. Mentally, I feel so overwhelmed. And it just feels strange the way that the world is right now. And I just wanted to share where I'm at with you guys, because maybe you too are postpartum, which I think is a huge portion of why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. But also for just anybody who feels kind of like in a place where they're struggling or overwhelmed as well. As most of you know, unless you're finding my channel off of this video, I had my second baby almost 4 months ago, and it has been a wild experience. I had a C-section, as you may remember, and the recovery of my C-section has just been not ideal. My C-section took, like the actual scar itself took probably up until about 3 weeks ago-ish to fully heal. And by heal, I mean like topically seal back together. I still had problem areas up until like 3 weeks ago, and I'm almost 4 months postpartum. It's a long time to have a wound. And that's just talking about, again, surface level healing. Internally, I feel a lot of fatigue. I feel a lot of pain. I feel a lot of restriction from like destabilization. And I am still going to physical therapy. Because I just feel like I need help. The mental toll that just the physical healing has taken on me is more than maybe I even realized. I'm somebody who has the personality of constantly working on something, constantly multitasking, and my healing from the C-section has really impacted that. And so for me to feel like I haven't been able to get back to what's normal to me or feel comfortable at the level that I'm functioning is very frustrating. And at this point, like I said, almost 4 months postpartum, it's starting to affect me mentally. I can just tell. On top of the physical healing aspect of my C-section, breastfeeding has been another huge impactful portion of my postpartum experience. I have severely low supply. I feel like breastfeeding in general can really be stressful for people, and I feel like it's just one of the things that I have on my plate right now. I do want to make a video about how I include breastfeeding in my postpartum experience with low supply. So if you guys experience that as well, or if you're concerned about that in any way, I would love to focus a video solely on breastfeeding with low supply. But if you guys have ever experienced that, you know how stressful it is. Breastfeeding in general is so stressful. And then to have low supply, but to want to breastfeed so bad is so complicated. I feel like at 4 months postpartum, nobody is really checking in on you. I feel like in my case, people kind of just assumed I was jumping back into it as a second-time mom, and that I was just gonna basically be able to pick up where I left off. But it has been a struggle for me to adapt from a parent of 1 to a parent of 2. I still am hardcore working through that. The concept of not being able to fully focus my entire energy on my firstborn is something I am still adapting to. It's a struggle. It's just a huge struggle. Part of my worry, like, am I good enough as a parent? Am I doing a good enough job? Am I fulfilling each individual child's needs sufficiently? It's just been really difficult, and I don't really feel like people talk about it. I get that every time you bring a baby home, it's gonna be a learning process and a transition of change, or a transition period where you're changing from one routine to the next. But to be in that for 4 months and feel like you're still just ever so slowly tweaking things. Somebody with an efficiency mindset, that's really hard. It just feels like 4 months is so long. It feels like 4 months has been a lifetime, but at the same time, it feels like it's flashed by so quickly. But to just feel like we haven't gotten into like a decent routine yet is starting to become overwhelming for me. I think that I've been trying to just make everything look normal. I've been trying to keep the path, if you will, to try to maintain some normalcy for my eldest daughter. And with that, I feel like I'm kind of faking it till I make it, if that makes sense, as a mom. Like, I've never been a mom of 2 before, but I feel like I'm just trying to fake it until I make it. And I think that that puts off this idea that I have my SHIT together when I don't. I don't feel like I know everything that I'm doing, that I am a professional mom of 2. And so because I put out that view, or because I put out that expectation, it just seems like nobody really checks in. Nobody has ever asked, are you okay? And I think I've just reached a point where I'm struggling. And I've tried to just kind of like hold it together for so long and make everything look hunky-dory and a-okay, and I'm killing this mom of 2 game, but I'm struggling. It's really hard for me to post normal content. And what I mean by normal content is like the sarcasm banter and the product recommendations and the normal mom struggles when there are huge things happening in 2020. This pandemic has been insane. To be bringing a baby home, a new baby home, is hard enough already, like extremely difficult. But then to add in concern about the baby getting sick extra because of this pandemic. Fact of the matter is, nobody really knows long-term effects. Nobody really knows susceptibility. Nobody really knows how many people have been infected because testing is a sham. This pandemic has thrown my eldest's schedule out the window. She has gone from being an extremely outgoing social butterfly out of the house every single day to having a new sibling, never being able to leave the house, having to figure out how to use a mask to go to the doctor, seeing people in masks, like just the list goes on and on and on. We were gonna start her again in preschool this year. That's basically been completely eliminated. During this pandemic, we've experienced, technically we didn't have job loss in the family, but hours were eliminated. I feel like we're in a position financially that I didn't anticipate, and finances can be a huge stressor. Ever since George Floyd died, it feels like there's been this huge wave of anti-racism movement, which is amazing, but very, very heavy, because even as a white woman, having a Black husband and raising biracial babies is so heavy. We've seen such a divide in our nation, and it is so hard to see that not every single person in the world wants to be anti-racist. It's so hard being confronted with that reality. It feels like everything is turning political. It feels like people are choosing sides politically in regards to issues that shouldn't be political. They're more humanity-based concepts. We've only scratched the surface on our government corruption. I'm expressing all of this because I just want to share that I have hard days. That what's happening in our world right now is insane. And as somebody who is very empathic, somebody who tends to fight for any injustice, and to feel like there's so much injustice that's being brought to the surface right now, I have felt extremely mentally impacted. And it's hard. It's hard some days to just wrap your mind around everything and to feel like we're not even close to solutions on many of these things. Speaking of solutions, I don't have a solution, except for I've just always been taught to like keep moving forward, and that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna continue to move forward. I want to continue to work really hard at things that are important to me and bring you guys along for it. I want to occasionally post funny content, be sarcastic and silly, and to help keep myself sane. But I also want to share when things are really hard. Otherwise, it just looks like they're never hard, and that couldn't be further from the truth. I just want to share where I'm at right here and right now, in hopes of just finding or helping to find some camaraderie in the struggle. There's a ton of really great things happening. I feel really blessed even though I'm struggling, and I'm trying to just focus on that. If you feel comfortable, leave me a comment down below. Let me know how you guys are feeling. If you know somebody who's feeling the struggle extra right now, feel free to share this video. It doesn't really feel like I said everything I want to say, how I want to say it, but I'm going to try and just give myself some grace and accept that I did the best I could in this video, and I hope you guys understand that. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching today.